Murray-Darling Basin catchment covers over 1 million square kilometres, which is approximately 14% of Australia. This vast catchment extends from Queensland to South Australia and contains 23 river valleys. The basin is home to more than 2 million people, and then outside of the basin another 1.3 million depend on its water resources, some of which are for regional centres and agricultural communities. The basin is Australia's most important agricultural area, producing over 1/3 of Australia's food supply. 39% of the national income derived from primary production comes from the basin. The basin makes up 65% of Australia's irrigated farming and is home to 53% of the cereals grown in Australia, 100% of our rice crop, 95% of oranges, 54% of apples, 28% of the national cattle herd, 45% of sheep, and 62% of pigs. Due to the high level of irrigation, the idea of water cuts have been met with despair and rage by farmers. As can be seen in the figure, some areas are losing almost 50% of their original allocated water. This loss will be detrimental to our food production and in turn our food security here in Australia. Food security is set to be one of our biggest global struggles in the coming decades, with climate change, a growing population, and the loss of resources such as water. Food security is defined as all people at all times having access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food for a healthy and active lifestyle. For this to occur, we need to double our food production by 2050, which with growing obstacles seems unlikely. For Australia, the main issue will not only be climate change and climate variation, but water availability, which raises the question, why are we enforcing water cuts at such high rates when the water recommended for environmental flows is much lower? Are we risking the food security and lifestyles of our future population? Many believe this to be the case.
I believe we are in trouble when it comes to the Murray-Darling and our ability to feed ourselves sustainably. The Murray-Darling Basin produces over 40% of our agriculture output, and this is at a great risk due to unmitigated warming, but also from the cuts of water designated to irrigation in the basin. There is the estimation that unmitigated warming could reduce the production from irrigation in the basin by almost half by 2050. It has also been estimated that by 2030, the impact of climate change on the southern, most productive section of the basin may be like having a millennium drought over and over again. So with this effect coming on, why are we also choosing to cut the water designated to the area? It has been suggested that we will cut the water designated to irrigation by 25%. This is said to lead to a 7% cut in the basin's total agriculture production, which with the rising food security crisis is alarming. Australia is said to feed over 60 million people, including ourselves, with a huge loss of production due to water cuts, or even what this oncoming climate variation may create, we could lose the basin as a productive world.
Good morning, Melinda. Thank you for speaking with us today. Could you please just tell us who you are and where you're from?
My name is Melinda McDonald, and I'm the owner of McDonald's Farm. On McDonald's Farm, we grow rice. Water is very important to us being rice producers.
So being part of the Murray-Darling Basin, is water a big issue to you?
Water is one of my biggest concerns being a primary producer using irrigation, especially when the rice is our main crop, as it uses the vast majority of our water. Our major concern in regards to water is the loss of our irrigation license.
If you were to lose your irrigation license, could you survive?
Our business probably would not survive as we do not get enough rainfall in this area to support our current enterprise.
Do you feel that it is understandable to cut water for the environmental flows?
Yes, I believe that it is a good idea, but that volume is just too high. We have an uncertain future in this country in regards to agriculture, So why should we make it worse for ourselves?
Do you believe that water cuts in the basin will directly affect our food security in Australia?
Damn, definitely, as the basin is such a big producer. Even a small loss here could be devastating to not only our food security, but to other countries also.
Thank you for your time today, Melinda. Is there any other final comments you would like to make?
I just want to stress again that our food security and our water in the basin are directly linked and dependent on one another.